Hello, and welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Hi.
2025 first edition of the Hobbyplex Show podcast. Will, did you know that this is episode 150?
Really?
Yeah, we've done
Wow.
150 like 2-hour-long chats.
Huh. How many hours is that? Like
Math? Are you asking me to do
two-
math?
300 hours?
Math is so
It's like
hard.
300 hours.
Times. Is it? It's not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 150 times 2. There you go. Yeah.
Carry the one. Yeah, definitely 300.
300 hours? That seems
Yeah,
low.
300 hours. I don't know.
Is that right?
You
That'd
said
be
we've done
15.
150.
That'd be
You
15,
said
right?
You said 150 2-hour-long episodes. It's like 300 hours.
well.
No.
3,000
wait a minute.
3,000 hours?
No, it's not 3,000 hours.
Is it not?
No.
Like I said, math is hard.
Maybe.
Especially for somebody like me whose mind is just gone
Oh, yeah.
from day-to-day occurrences.
So if you have like 150 apples, right? And those are like times 2. Isn't that 300?
Yes, but 2 hours is 120 minutes.
We're not
So
talking about minutes. We're talking about hours as a single unit of the thing.
Oh.
Hours, minutes don't matter. I mean, we're just talking about single hours here. So there's 2 of them. We're talking about, regardless of what the units are, it's still a
Oh,
unit.
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Science, bitch.
Let's see if there's a comment section on our math skills as we get in here. What I was excited though is it's 2025. This is
Oh, yeah, it is.
I don't know about you, but I'm glad 2024 is over.
Yeah. I could have, I could have took it or left it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am yeah, I don't know. I'm wonder why my oh, there it goes. It's coming on. Gosh darn it. Will is sick. It's also his anniversary today.
I think I could be doing like a kickflip right on my table here.
Yeah. When 2018? When did you
What
get
about
married?
Oh, yeah, 18, I think.
18,
I don't know. No, 17. No, 18. 18. Yeah, January of 18, I think.
right? Yeah. Because that was the year we had to move the Techno Series because your wedding date was on it.
Yeah.
And I moved it. I'm like
January 6th.
And you were in the points for e-buggy, I think.
Yeah, and I won it.
Yeah.
And there were some people that were upset that we moved the date, and I won it.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Oh well, nobody even remembers that anymore.
No, they
so
don't.
It's fine.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. So yeah, so that's 7 years for you, right?
Something like that.
25, 18, 7 years. I'm working on my 22nd.
I always end up thinking 8 years. Like, and even like if I have an anniversary at work or something, like let's say I've worked here for 3 years, like, oh yeah, I've been here like 4 years.
Yeah.
I always end up like going like counting the next year for some reason. I don't know why I do that.
Yeah. So I didn't realize it was our 150th episode until we just got here. We're not going to do the confetti thing again. I think when we did that 100, I think they're still finding confetti on the floor. So we're not going to do that again. My sister's actually not here because we're doing this a little till 5, and she had some conference to go to, I think, or something like that until 7. So
Parent teacher conferences.
yeah, but your wife gets home soon, and so we wanted to get this in before because I wanted to do a podcast because I wanted to talk about some stuff that happened at the store and
Oh yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about our schedule going forward. I wanted to talk about other stuff that didn't involve anything that happened this last week. And but here we are. So yeah. First things first, though, you're getting ready for Chili Bowl.
Yep. Got my sprint car right here. Drip snorting, ready to go.
And when do you leave?
Sunday. Week from yesterday. I also have my late model, but I don't have any stickers on it yet. I get it stickered up. New body.
It's very white.
This thing looks sick though.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, Andy LaChance made these flames for me.
Cool.
Yeah, he made them on his little cut thing at home. So he did a good job. He was having fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. Kenny
Yep.
got my truck body done, so my truck body is good to go. I already had an S15 from a Mugen 2-wheel drive off road for this this first big race coming up in February, and then he painted a body for Emerson's Mugen, and then Emerson accepted a Team Associated sponsorship. So now I wonder if that body will fit on his Associated car, won't it?
For what car was it?
It was for his Mugen MBX8, but he should be able to make that fit, don't you think? Like, it'd be close.
I have no idea anymore.
Techno's like one of the only ones that's where the chassis lineup is completely different from everybody else's stuff.
Do they make two bodies, like the same body for both the Mugen and the Associated?
No, they make a body for each one.
Huh.
I wonder if
because I remember like when I was running 8 scale, I think on the electric 8 scale there was a body you had to get that was for the Mugen and it fit better, or it was better, or they didn't offer it yet for the Associated one.
I wonder if it has like a I wonder if the throttle linkage, the area for the throttle linkage will match up. That's the only thing that I can think of that might be way different.
Yeah,
because I know like on my Mugen e-buggy body, there's a little bump for your battery where it kind of sticks out. It hits that. They actually designed clearance into that. The J Concepts S15 body for it.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty.
They still use that body.
Yeah, looks good on there too.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite body.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah.
So he has an Associated 8 scale now.
Not yet. We're waiting on them to get in. So I don't think he's not going to race this Techno Series race, and we're just going to get his other 2 cars going ready for the INS race in February. That'll be kind of his debut, pretty much.
Yeah, his debut.
Yeah. He raced Saturday. He got one of my B6s, the one that we got for Island. He got that running really fast, and he actually was battling for the lead. He just a little aggressive.
Doesn't have the 7 yet?
No, not yet. That'll be on the way.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
So that's kind of good news on our side of things. I'm still I don't need a chassis sponsorship. I like my J Concept sponsorship.
Right.
And I'm happy. I'm happy for that. So
yeah.
But Emerson's got some stuff rolling, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year. So
oh yeah.
We have 2 carpet races left. So the syndicate, we had an ice storm back in December, and it happened to be the night or the morning of the Carpet Off-Road Syndicate December series round, and I kind of made the decision, look, I'm not going to let this one be we're going to drop this day. Well, then everybody showed up anyways, so I probably could have kept it as a points race, but since I announced that I wasn't going to have it be a points race, we basically just flipped it and a club race day that we had.
Yeah.
In February, so now the finals are February 15th. And I don't like scheduling stuff that close to something like Valentine's Day, but
yeah,
kind of the risk you take sometimes in winter. So we got February 15th, and then 2 weeks after that we got our carpet crash in, and then we're done with carpet for the year until next season maybe. And then we're back onto dirt in March, so I'm excited about that full time.
Mm-hmm.
The Techno Series is this coming up weekend. Somebody asked if there's going to be a track change. There's not, and I'm not really going to talk about why on here, but when you get here, I can kind of explain it to people. I'm sure I'll have to talk about it, a couple times, more than once, I'm sure, this coming up weekend. But basically, the all I really want to talk about that is that unfortunately, I have to spend this week redoing our entire audio system out there so that we can have computer sounds go to the track. Because right now we only have, we were able to race Friday night with just the inside speakers and the outside speakers, but the computer sounds weren't there. So I gotta work on that. So yes, no track change this time. As long as everything comes together like it should, there will be a different track layout for February for sure. Because I was planning on not having the podcast today. I was actually gonna be at the track working on the track all day, and I kind of have other stuff I got to do to make sure that this next race goes well. So that's all I'm really gonna say about that. But again, you know, I can talk to people in person if they want. I just don't want to talk about it on the podcast. And then so then we got February 1st is the next. I think it's February 1st is the next Techno Series. So 2 Techno Series going to be pretty close to one another, and then there's a little bit of gap until the finals in March. So I'm already like over winter. I know I say this every year, but I'm over it. I hate winter.
Every year I'm like, maybe it just won't get cold this year.
Yeah.
It's like I think that to myself. Like, yeah, maybe it won't get cold. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And it does.
We're dodging bullets.
Oh yeah.
If the Techno Series was this weekend, I mean it would have been cold, you know. So we're dodging bullets because so far the forecast has been steady at like, what does it say now? 34 degrees. I can handle 34 degrees. It's the 0 that I don't like. And if it was gonna be that cold, it's pretty much impossible to have the doors open without like bad stuff happening. So
34 degrees feels awesome in that building.
Yeah,
like,
34 degrees is fine.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I'm in a booth with a heater, so it's totally cool.
34 degrees, like if it's like during the day, it doesn't even really feel that cold.
No.
They wear like
as long as it's not windy. It's when it's windy that sucks.
Man, if it's windy, man, the wind cuts right through you.
Yeah.
I sound so old. We're old. 4 more years, they'll be able to run 40 plus.
Did you see Ryan Lutz? Ryan Lutz turned 40.
Why?
Did you see he turned 40? Well, I'm just saying.
No, I didn't. Well, good for him. Keep it up.
It's gonna be him and Drake now can go head to head in the 40 plus. Let's say change it to 45.
We should start a 40 negative class, and like for people in between 40 and 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for you guys like you that are just right there under, we can separate you out.
Someday I'll be old enough to race 40 plus.
Yep, it's a goal. It really is a goal, for sure. I'm looking through. I'm a bad race director because with everything that went down this week that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, I kind of didn't really keep an eye on the Clash, so I didn't really see how Andrew and Dalton did. But they went to the Clash and they got new cars. They're Schumacher drivers now. Schumacher. So looks like Andrew finished 8th and Dalton finished 10th in expert 2-wheel drive B main.
Mm-hmm.
And where's 4-wheel drive? I bet they made the 4-wheel drive B. Let's click on it and see real quick. There's Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew finished 7th. He was your BQ. So he just missed A main. And then I don't see Dalton. Dalton missed a round. I didn't get the skinny on what happened, but I know he missed at least one round of qualifying with something. Let's see if he was in the C.
Did Taco Pete go with him?
I don't know. I honestly don't know about a lot of that. I was kind of out of the loop.
I haven't heard from old Taco Pete in a while.
I think I saw pictures. Maybe I saw pictures of Dalton's little brother at a Pinewood Derby, like doing really well.
Yeah.
I imagine with Taco, getting his hands on a Pinewood Derby car. Like it'd
Well,
be like
Fine Car Durbinator.
it'd be like unstoppable.
Oh yeah, the thing will have like electronics in it. Like he like sits it on there. It's like beep boop boop boop.
Boop, boop,
Like
boop, boop.
yeah, going all crazy and stuff.
Well, I don't even see Dalton on the list in 4-wheel drive. Maybe there's a, you know what? There's a final. Hold on. Where's the race up? Race and overall standings. Overall standings. Doesn't really do that with the main events, does it? Oh well. Somebody will tell me. Anyways, so they did okay, I think, for their debut with new cars. It's always weird it's going to be weird for Emerson having a brand new B7. I'm sure he's going to do good in truck. Honestly, he'll probably do pretty awesome in 4-wheel drive because that's just how Emerson is. But I can, with the B7, it might take a little bit of some help from the teammates, for the next for the INS race. But I'm sure they're going to get him going up to speed pretty quick.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Oh yeah.
Did you see the front end that Spencer posted on his cars ready for the Clash a week ago?
No, I haven't.
It had the KPI stuff wasn't on it. It was the B6 front end spindles and carriers.
Ooh.
And he made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. From what I read, just trying this. It was something along the lines of, this car or this front end feels better for this style of track or something. Because there was some comments of we're dropping the KPI thing and all that stuff. I don't think they're dropping it, but I did find that interesting though.
Yeah, it is. I said when that front end first came out, I was like, well, maybe things are so tunable now. No one thing is just going to be the end all be all the time.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that they would somebody like Spencer would kind of know when to do that. That's what kind of separates those guys from the regular Joes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Since they know when to put that on. How did you know? That was always my thing. It's how did you know to do that?
Yeah.
How did you know when to use it? That's still something that I struggle with, is knowing when to make a big change like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's it for? When is it the best? But
yeah, that's something that I've always I'm gonna age myself here, but back when I first got on the TLR team, when we were running the Triple X still, you basically had to have two cars. You would have the BK2, some BK2 parts, but then you would also have some regular Triple X parts on it. The front end, was that the front end? Something with the front end spindles and stuff, where you had to go back to the old spindles, but you were using these arms and something like that. And I was always frustrated with that sort of thing. I want to run what the consumer is going to get. If they open up this car and and you build it, that's what I want to run, so that I can be of some help. I don't want to have to, merge a whole bunch of parts together.
And that's where my cars are always way all this stuff.
Yeah.
My car, I pretty much took everything kit off of it, and it's all carbon. And,
Well, yeah, we need to lighten the 4-wheel drive up, so we're gonna get the associated version of the pucks, I think, for the center and that they make, and all the carbon stuff to lighten the car up is what I was gonna do that with anyways, and then I'm like, well, Emerson, this is your car now, so I think that's what we're gonna end up doing, just to try to get in the car a little lighter. Was kind of a pig when I had it, but I was racing mods, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
But that's what's nice about right now, the Mugen car that I'm driving is it's really good, and all you got to do is buy some pistons and some springs.
Yeah, that is really
crazy.
interesting to me, that car just sit it down and it works.
Yeah. So his journey was as a chassis sponsor driver coming up. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got off on a tangent there, but when I don't want to distract. I don't want to like not talk about your chili bowl coming up here, but
Yeah.
when you worked at Hobbytown in Lincoln for the short, because you were kind of, how long did you work there?
Like 5 years.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to deal with any shady crap there? Like
Oh yeah. There was a day that I came into work. It was like my day off, and like I was like, hey, you know what? It's middle of summer. I got nothing going on. Middle of the week, I'll go to work. And so I go to Hobbytown. They like stuff the label. I'm standing at the RC counter labeling stuff. Well, apparently, when that happened, somebody stole like, I don't know, $10,000 worth of Magic cards
oof.
out of the case, and there it would have been a stack about like that,
Right.
like
Yeah.
nothing. Like these cards were like $3,000 a piece cards, maybe more than that, some of them. And I was like, holy cow! But they stole them out of the case somehow, and I wasn't even over there, so I wasn't like in trouble or anything.
Right.
I don't think anybody did get in trouble, but anyway, there's that. There's this time that uh, there's a. Do you remember the Align helicopter brand? Is that
Yeah.
even still a thing?
Yeah. There's
So like
somewhat. Yeah.
the Align T-Rex 450,
Yep.
pretty popular helicopter. There's a guy that stole one of those, and they like him and his wife like had it like on the floor and were like pushing it around so nobody could see them like do it, like try to steal it. And
Right.
they pushed it over into an area and they put it in like a duffel bag and or like one of those like I don't know like a big purse bag or something and took
Yeah.
it. There was a guy that brought an empty box for a micro T and uh, swapped the box out with a new one. Like it was just an
Mm-hmm.
empty box
Mm-hmm.
and stole it. There's people stealing stuff like that all the time.
So one time, when I was running the Lincoln track, and I was working 1 day a week at Hobbytown East Park,
Hmm.
and sometimes 2 days a week, but mostly 1 day a week, usually on Wednesdays. So I had employee discount privileges, right? And so I
Hmm.
would drive all the way down there, and um, I would drive all the way down there for stuff. And so one time I what did I end up buying? Like a Novak Millennium charger and something else and something else. Gretchen was with me, you know, drove all the way down there and had a day off and it was nice. And we were saying hi to everybody and I was getting my stuff. And I saw this guy and he had a stroller with him, right?
Hmm.
And this was back, they still do this, but they had all those cars that were up and they had like chains on them.
Hmm.
Well, apparently this GS Storm, remember that car?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the equivalent of like a Duratrax Apex or whatever that is.
Hmm.
What's that crappy 8 scale that Duratrax had?
Uh,
Apex, was it
boy.
Ajax? Apex?
I remember they had the Duratrax Warhead.
No, I
That thing
know.
came with the Spurrier stripped right out of the box.
Yeah. Apex is associated. It's an associated car, so it's not that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So I felt weird about the guy. And I got to tell you, I was thinking about this and how I was going to talk about this today. And a lot of times your first instinct is always correct.
Yeah.
You know? So we get to stuff and we're going out to the car. And I see this guy take this GS Storm. He's in the parking lot. He takes this GS Storm and he plops it on the ground and he like pushes the suspension like you know, like anybody in RC would.
Hmm.
And I look at Gretchen and I go, I don't think that guy bought that. He didn't buy that, did he? Do you remember him buying that? So I jot down the license plate number and I go around to the back and I knock on the back door and Chad Yost was manager at the time and he comes back there. He's like, what's up? And I said, hey man, get out the cameras and see if, and I go, yeah, this car's missing. See how this guy got this car out of there. He's like, what? And so this guy had his wife take he had like 3 kids with him. One of them was in a stroller. He had his wife take the little kid out, put the little baby in the truck, then bring the stroller back in. They put the GS Storm when nobody was looking in the stroller, cover it with a blanket, And then they checked out and just walked out the door with this car with no radio, by the way. They didn't have the radio because the box was up on the shelf. So how stupid are you? And so he this guy, I was told when the cops showed up at the door, because it was his parents' truck or something like that.
Oh.
Like when they showed up at the door of this guy's house, like his wife's face just turned like solid white because they knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
That was the first one of the first ones that I've ever dealt with. But I don't know, man. There was something about that incident where I was like, there's no way he didn't buy that. And I went back in, sure enough, he didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And then we had at the Plex a long time ago, we had this guy, him and his girlfriend came in. He distracted me while his girlfriend grabbed an X-Ray T2 and walked out the door with it.
Huh.
And then
it's like, what are you going to do with that? It's
right.
Like you're going to come back and race it.
Yeah. Well, my thing was, I remember this one because it's such an odd thing to steal. Like where are you going to race that at? There's only one place within like a 400-mile radius to Kansas City. I don't even know if Kansas City had a carpet track at the time. So it's like, where are you going to go with that car? So it ended up on Craigslist.
Nice.
And I emailed the guy and said, hey, I'm interested. Well, when he emailed me back, guess what I got in the email? I got his full name. So now I've got this car that was stolen from us, and I got this guy's full name. I had the sheriffs come out, write a report, and then I got an email soon after that saying, hey, it's no longer for sale. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And then I was like, well, maybe he found out who I was, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up on eBay, like literally an hour later as a buy it now. And I was thinking, and it was super cheap.
Yeah.
And I was like,
$10
I was like, oh no, somebody's going to buy this and we're going to lose the evidence and all this other stuff. So I actually thought about buying it at the time, but then I'm like, no, I'll do this. So I went on RC Tech and I made a post that said stolen X-Ray on eBay right now. Do not buy.
Yeah.
And then I got like a couple private messages from people that were saying, well, I was going to buy that, but now I'm not going to. And then this other guy said, well, I bought it. What do you want me to do? And I'm like, oh, God damn it. And I'm like, so I gave the detective the phone number on that one. And that guy never did get busted, actually. The county attorney actually turned down the case.
Really?
Because I had done almost all the work. So it was tainted. Their detectives didn't do any of the work. So the letter that said, it basically said, here's all the holes that the other side can use to say that this was not actually the same car. And I'm like, give me a break, you know? So I actually followed that guy on Facebook. I followed that guy on Facebook for a little while.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Are you still friends with him?
I'm not. I don't even remember his name, but I do remember what happened. So if you don't think that karma is a real thing, I tend to think that karma might be a real thing sometimes, because 6 months after this happened, this guy lived in Plattsmouth. He got plowed into while on the job by like a Winnebago and ended up in the hospital for like 9 months and half paralyzed or some crazy shit like that. Like his life was just ruined by this accident. I just want to go on record. I'm not wishing that that had happened to the guy. I'm just saying that, you know,
yeah,
you screw around, maybe sometimes life screws back at you. That's all.
Yeah, you get life screwed at you. That's funny.
Did I ever tell you about the T-Max? Or not the T-Max, the X-Max bait boxes?
Oh, yeah, I was there for that.
This is a perfect time for a Kickstart break because this is really...
Bush Light myself.
Yeah. So, we had somebody run out the door. This was like 2015 or something like that. Run out the door of the car, and I was pissed, and I'm like, man, we got to put all these cars back behind the counter. So that's when we really started putting in all the cars up.
Yeah.
And because I just didn't want that to happen again, you know, I always felt weird about it. And
Right.
even with cameras, it's like they don't really care sometimes. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they don't. I think they do once they saw how awesome our footage was. The two guys
Yeah.
in 2019 we put that on Facebook and they got busted within like a half hour. Both of them. It was awesome. But this was before that. So what we did was we took as many empty boxes of trucks, like when somebody bought an X-Max, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to keep the box?" And they're like, "No, well, you can keep the box." And we're like, "Awesome!" So we kept all these boxes around, and I filled them up with garbage,
Mm-hmm.
and like tied it up so it was heavy, but didn't make a rattling sound, so it felt like there was an actual car in it. And then I put a picture of Steve Buscemi, and if you don't know who that is, watching on the video right now, I'm going to show you if I can get in here. Where did my gallery go? Why does stuff move around on my phone without me telling it to move around on my phone? That is really annoying.
Internet.
Mm-hmm. I should still have it on here. Do I still have it
Can I
on
build
here?
my shocks with green slime for oval?
I pretty much use green slime all the time.
I haven't been.
Really?
I haven't used green slime in a long time. I was just saying shock.
Are they leaking though?
These ones, I'm just changing the O-ring.
Oh, okay.
These are GFRP shocks,
Oh.
but
What? Where did my Steve Buscemi face go? All right. Well, anyways, look up when you're bored sometime. Look up Steve Buscemi sturgeon face. It's a real thing. And I wrote on it, "Sorry, no X-Max, but here's a bag of dicks." And there was a little crack bag of some candied dicks that Brian Cox had given me. And I thought, hey, what better use to use these than to prank somebody who thought that they were getting a free X-Max by walking out the door with it when we weren't looking.
Oh, yeah.
So we put those out there on the floor for...
We're doing God's work at that point,
I know.
really.
For like a year. For like a year, these things were out there, and we kept them out there. We actually made a fake tag, and when you rang up the fake tag, it literally said, "Do not sell this. There's no car in here," in case one of our guys, accidentally sold a car that wasn't a car in there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, one day, I'm there for something, and I leave, and then I come back like an hour later, and I walk in, and 3 of the bait boxes are gone.
Oh.
And I'm like, "Hey guys, what happened?" And they're like, "What do you mean what happened? We don't know. What are you talking about?" I'm like, the fake X-Max box that we've had for a year, where did it go?" And they're like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Did you throw it away?" You're like, "No, we didn't throw it away." And I'm like,
who are you talking to?
Well, I don't want to say who it is because
do I know who it is?
You probably.
I think I know who it is.
So, anyways, no idea what happened to him. So then I started thinking about and I started laughing because I'm like, this is hilarious. Somebody thinks that they just got 3 free I think it was a Stampede 4x4, an X-Max, and something else. I can't even remember what car it was. And inside, when they open it up, they're going to find this picture of Steve Buscemi, a little note, and a little bag of dicks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I just started, I was like, hilarious. And then I started worrying about it because I was like, oh crap, well, what if they this actually happened? Like, what if they vandalize our place or something? So we never did it again after that because I was actually more worried about that because I worry a lot. I worry a lot about stuff.
Yeah.
I worry a lot about stuff. So, but the bait box, now that I look back on it, was pretty funny.
It was.
I can just imagine them sitting there. Would you even be mad? Like if you were a thief and that happened to you, would you even be mad about it?
I don't know. I might just go back and be like, all right, good one. You got me.
I would hope. I don't know. Or like an email.
Would you press charges on him?
I don't know what to do in that situation because they stole they stole an empty box.
They're like, all right, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, you stole that? I'm like, yeah, I took it. And you're like, all right, stay here. I'm calling the police.
So we actually haven't had anything like that happen in a store for a long time. So I went back and I looked. 2019 was the last time. So 5 years ago, now,
Mhm.
almost 6.
Mhm.
We had within a week of each other too. We had one guy walk out the door with a Traxxas Rally, and we were just super busy, and he just managed to slip by everybody until at the last minute somebody turned and saw him.
Yeah.
And then like a week before that or after that, I can't remember, but these 2 douche knockers, they came in and grabbed like a Dramata, like a couple Dramata $100 RC cars, and they ran out the door with them too. Well, both of those guys got nailed with our cameras, and I posted on Facebook because I went back and looked, and I'm like, when did this happen? And they got both of them. We had their addresses, like their full names and addresses, within like a half hour after posting it on Facebook, which was awesome. So, so the other day, I think was it New Year's Day? I think it was New Year's Day.
Yeah.
I think it was New Year's Day. So I'm there. First thing in the morning is this guy sold a crawler too, and like some of the electronics weren't working or whatever. And I'm working on it, trying to narrow it down, the problem, trying to figure it all out. And I see this guy come in, and he's got a dirty COVID mask on, and kind of dressed not that great, which, I mean, not to stereotype people, but something felt fishy. It was mostly the COVID mask, because it was like people who are actually concerned about that sort of thing are not going to wear a dirty COVID mask. They're going to have a clean one on, and this guy just had a dirty COVID mask. And Tim was there that day. He saw him too. We both were kind of eyeballing the guy, and he was right in front of me. And I'm working on this guy's truck, and I'm watching this guy, and he's got these Kyosho phaser cars, and he's sorting through them, and he puts the 2 most expensive ones, which are the 2 brushless ones, in there. And he starts, 20 minutes go by, and he picks them up, and he starts to walk out. He starts to go up to the front, and I tell the guy I'm helping, I'm like, hang on a second, hang on. And I start to follow this guy. And Tim motions him to come around to the other side to get rang up. And the guy just ignores him, starts walking to the front door. So I yell at him.
He's like, I'm not getting rung up today.
Yeah. So I yell at him, and I try to be as scary sounding as I can. And the cop was really funny, because she was like, I told her this, and she's like, yeah, it's hard to sound scary when you're not scary. I'm like, thanks, lady. But, this is,
And you are?
this pudgy fat guy. And so,
Yeah.
So the guy turns around and looks at me, and I'm telling him, I'm like, don't do it. And he starts to lean into the door to leave, and I go and I knock the cars out of his hands, and they end up in the center vestibule. Vestibule? Is that the right thing?
Vestibule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, so he stands there for a second. We're looking at each other. I say something to him. Honestly, I don't even remember what I'd said to him. I was trying to sound scary.
You're a dead man.
Yeah. So he reaches in. So he reaches to go grab one of these, and that's when I went in, and I got into a scuffle with him. If I remember right, I pushed him really hard, and then I tried to lean in with an elbow, and I had him up against the windows, and then Tim comes in behind me, and he reaches in. I think he gets him in the face, and he pulls off the dirty COVID mask.
Yeah.
And then we finally get him outside. Now, here's the deal. They were back.
Catching him outside?
Catching him outside. Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
Anyway.
I wish I did, but I didn't. So anyways.
You didn't catch him outside.
Yeah. So they had backed in. So so there was 2 more people in this truck. They had backed in with the car running, so they were ready for him to come out, like put him in the back of the truck and then jump in the car and then leave. Well, that didn't happen. So
yeah.
So I come back in, and while this was happening, while I was finally in the final scuffle with the guy, he had a little bit of reach on me, and he was taller than me, and he was hitting me over the back. So I don't know if you guys can see. I'm gonna show you.
All right, show us. Kinda. I don't know. I can't see.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. It's a week later, so it's kind of cleaned up. He was hitting me over the top, and the guy that I was helping,
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, like Sylvester, like Lincoln Hawk, and but the guy said, "Hey, look out! The guy's got a knife," And
Yeah.
so I'm sitting
He's
there.
got a knife!
I'm literally underneath the guy. Yeah, right. I'm underneath the guy, and I can feel him like hitting me. And then that's when Tim, came in. We got him outside, and I turn around. I see the cars are still there. Okay, and I'm like, all right, look at us. Like I walked in, I was kind of like, yeah, look at us, guys. And then they said, hey, you're bleeding, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I looked down. I had no idea that I was cut at all. And I looked down at my hand, which again, look at this thing. This is not fair because this does not look like, it doesn't look bad at all. Honestly, now it's healing up really fast. But
you should tell people that you had like some ceremony that you had to do where they like cut their hand, like the center of their hand, like with like one of those like real big curvy knives.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, la, 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 and like speaking in tongues and like wearing a cloak. Dude, that'd be sweet. That would be a sweet story.
It would be a sweet story. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so I got cut on the hand. This does not do this justice. I mean, it was open. You could see underneath of my hand, and I'm bleeding all over the place. And I'm like, oh crap. And so, so one of our customers, and I can't remember his name now. He's one of our Bandai guys. He was super cool. He went out to his car. He's like got like a field medic kit. Came in, kind of cleaned me up a little bit. Put a bandage around it.
He's like, I have some Band-Aids in my fanny pack here.
So Tim, who was awesome, got the license plate number, and a whole bunch of these guys got the description of the car. There's tons of people in the store, like 10 people in the store. So we got good description of the car, good description of the guy, got the license plate number. The next thing I know, I'm getting lit up on my phone because, oh God, what's the name of the thing? Omaha
Scanner.
Omaha Scanner caught it on the thing and posted it out there, and it said stabbing at Hobbytown. So all these people are like, oh my God, like who would stab somebody at Hobbytown? And so it wasn't really a stabbing. It was more like a cutting, I guess is the correct term for it, because the EMT, I asked him, he wanted to know if I want to go to the hospital. I'm like, well, do I need stitches? And he's like, no, probably not. He goes, because it got me like at an angle, and so they were able to like take this fold of my skin and put it back over it and then bandage it really hard to stop the bleeding and to make it sort of like start to heal already. And he's like, if he had gotten me like straight in, then yes, I would absolutely need stitches. But because of the angle that he got me, I didn't actually need stitches. So it's more like a slashing, I guess. But the stuff on the back of my neck kind of worried me a little bit, because I felt the one that I tried to show you guys here, I did feel that one. And when I touched it, I saw blood, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, did that guy have it? And then I started thinking, did he like stab me, like stab me? And so I had him look at that, and it wasn't. It was just superficial more than anything, Yeah. But I was worried about that.
I would worry about getting stabbed with like an AIDS knife or something,
Right. Yeah. No, that crossed my mind too. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe I should go to the hospital and, get a shot or whatever. And I didn't.
Some rusty hobo knife or something.
Yeah, I know. Don't bring that. I'll start to worry about that now, on top of everything else. Alex has AIDS.
Really?
No, I don't know.
You have people that help you?
That would suck. AIDS.
Yeah.
I'm not going to joke about that, because what if, See, now I'm going to be in what if world again. I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry.
The stuff on my neck's healing up. I was actually worried about that. You ever go on Reddit and just see those like crazy videos of Brazil where people just get stabbed, and then like 30 seconds later they fall over? Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh crap, did he like actually get me? But he didn't get me, so it's fine. So
they say that like if you're bleeding out like internally or something, you'll start to pass out, and then you'll kind of like come to because your body starts pulling like blood from everywhere to your vital organs, and you'll think, oh, I'm fine, and then you die.
Yeah. Well,
safe to say you're in the clear.
Yeah, this is a week later. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I think you'll be all right.
I think the main point that I wanted to make, because I did want to talk about this, because this is crazy stuff.
Like everybody how much I don't have AIDS.
Like retail, I know that some places like I know if you work at Home Depot, like if you try to catch a shoplifter, you'll get fired basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. They have no. They're just like, yeah, let him walk out with it or whatever. That's why everything. That's why
Interesting.
everything's there starting to get locked up more now. Like all the,
Yeah,
especially all
you
the
can't
tools and
even
stuff.
like. Yeah, you can't even like get a battery there without having to
Right.
have somebody open the case. And I was like looking at batteries, and like the people like there were like, and they were behind, they were like locked up, and the people that worked there kept like talking to me like I was trying to steal battery from the locked case. Like, dude, I'm not one. I'm not paying $300 for one battery. I'll get the cheap Amazon ones.
Right.
That's how much a drill battery is now. And
Yeah.
two, like, how am I going to get it into that case?
Yeah. But like the Plex is really a safe place.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it really like that's the first incident in 5 years in a retail environment,
yeah.
you know? And the
Hmm.
last two, the in 2019, those two they did get away, but they didn't get away. Like they were caught pretty easily.
Did that guy that stabbed you get away?
I'm not sure yet. I'm supposed to talk to the investigators this week.
Oh
So
really?
I haven't really heard a lot of things. I feel like so there was like 8 shootings in Omaha New Year's
Yeah.
Day or New Year's Eve or whatever. So I mean, they might be a little busy.
What?
I'm sure they got their own divisions and everything, and but I am gonna follow up because like the license plate I think matched the truck, so it's not like they don't know whose truck it is,
Yeah.
And even if it's not the guy's truck, it's somebody that the guy was with.
Watch that guy like counter sue or something. Like he
Mm,
lawyers up and like tries to counter sue you for like assault. That'd
yeah,
be stupid.
I don't
I don't.
know.
I mean, I'm sure you could. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop somebody from suing you. But
Yeah,
like,
he didn't really get hurt. I wish I
well,
would
I
have
mean,
hurt.
what if he's like,
Here's the
ow,
di-
ow, my neck?
Dude, I kind of fought like a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been in a fight since junior high. Like the last real fight I was in was ninth grade, and in Omaha, that was junior high at the time. So freshman year, I guess, of high school. But I haven't been in a fight since, and I've like daydreamed about this sort of situation and what I would do, but the daydream doesn't match the physical stature of me. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so the guy didn't really like I don't think he got hurt or anything. He just didn't get what he came for. He didn't get any,
Yeah,
that's
it'd been
all.
sweet if you knew like kung fu or something.
I know, but I
We
don't.
should have a sign in the store that says like, all employees know kung fu. Watch out! Don't try to steal.
Well, I mean, if you go to La
They will not
Vista,
use it unless provoked.
yeah, if you go to La Vista, like
Oh yeah,
Cam's had his
that would be the worst store to steal something
Cam.
from.
So Cam's been managing the South store now for over a year, and I know of at least 2 shoplifting attempts with him there. And you want to talk about scary? Like I tried to sound scary and look scary, and I've got scary eyes. I'll try to do it. Hang on. Watch.
Mhm.
That's me. That's as good as you're gonna get from me.
Yeah.
Cam could be pretty scary, like when he's mad. And the one guy, I think one person tried to. It might have even been the same person. They brought a car up to the front door and sat it there for a second, and then Cam went and grabbed the car and was like, "Why is this here?" And the guy's like, "Hey man, I was gonna buy that," and he's like, "Were you?" Like, like we know what you're doing. And then
Yeah.
this, it might have even been the same guy, but another guy actually got out the door, and Cam sort of chased after him and went up to his car door, and apparently that one's kind of funny because the buddy that he was with actually brought the car back
Oh really?
because he didn't want to have anything to do with that is what he said, but I don't think he realized that they were going to get busted too. Probably still are
Yeah.
going to get busted because the cameras all around the business there got him. So
Right. That's
and
just the
then
way she goes.
yeah, and then Cam did we did catch a shoplifter, and Cam put him in a rear naked choke and put him to sleep, and it was one of the most awesome days I've ever had there at the
Yeah.
Plex. And
Yeah.
I wish I was that cool and that strong to be able to do that, but it was one of the best moments ever at the Plex because this was like, what, 16 or 17? 2016,
Yeah,
2017?
it would have been. So somewhere around there. It was an awesome day.
Oh my God.
I know that.
So this guy was like, again, another giveaway is if people make constant eye contact with you while they're going around the store, they're trying to figure out if you're onto them, or they're trying to find a moment when they can leave.
Yeah.
So he kept asking questions, and he kept all these bizarre questions and stuff. And he actually came up and he bought something, but his hand was shaking. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's weird. And honestly, if he would have just left, I was going to let him go because I didn't have any proof of anything.
Yeah.
But he asked me another question about airplanes. I remember this vividly. Remember the old store? We had one way in, one way out, right? We had this to the RC area. There was just one way in, one way out. We did it that way on purpose. He asked me a question about airplanes. I said, "Oh, come on over here." And then while he was walking by me, I looked down his pant pocket, because he was wearing like basically an equivalent to like Janko jeans.
Nice.
So he had this huge pocket, and inside of this pocket,
have Heelys on?
No, but inside of this pocket, he had like I can't even remember what it was, maybe modeling clay or something like that. Mm-hmm. And obviously he hadn't paid for it. And I was like, what's this?
Stealing clay?
I don't know. I think he had more than that. But I remember I reached in, I go, "Hey man, what's this?" And he's like, oh. And then he started to back up, and then he tried to run. And Cam, because he and I made eye contact, and he was ready for him. He was waiting at the front door. And he like crouched into this like jujitsu, whatever it is, and he grabbed him and he picked him up and he threw him down on the ground, got behind him, wrapped his arms around this guy's throat or whatever it is, and just totally put him to sleep within like 15 seconds. It was amazing. The guy was snoring. It was nuts. It was so crazy. And then, actually, I think he had either bought the fart bombs or had tried to steal those too. So when he got threw down, the fart bombs exploded.
Nice.
So we thought this guy crapped himself, which I would have. I mean, if I was trying to steal stuff and Cam picked me up and threw me to the ground and put me in a headlock and knocked me out, like, I probably would have crapped myself. But this guy didn't crap himself. It was just a fart bomb. So everybody was like scared to go near him for a little while until we realized it was just these fart bomb things that we used to have.
Afraid of him because he thought he pooped his pants.
You both thought, I don't want to touch nobody's poop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be around that. So anyway, Cam just held him there and wrapped him up and just held him there until the cops came. And then that guy got arrested. And then the funniest thing about that story and is not that moment. I mean, that moment was pretty awesome. So the next day, I'm not even making this shit up. This is real. Okay. I just want to put a disclaimer on this. This is actually,
these are all real stories.
This is actually the way this happened. Drop my son off for school. It's like 8 a.m. in the morning. I decide that instead of going to get my 2 kickstarts right before work, which sometimes would make me late, I said, I'm going to go to Cubby's in Bennington, and I'm going to go get my kickstarts early and just keep them in my truck, and then I'll go in. I remember it was like December 22nd or something like that. So I'm standing there in the Cubby's line. We're all cold. I got my hood on. I got my 2 kickstarts. I'm barely awake. And I feel it. I feel somebody behind me, right? And I'm like, and I look over and I do one of these. I'm like, hold on. The chair got messed up. So I do one of these, okay? This is what I do. I'm like this. I'm like, it's the guy. It's the guy that stole. Yeah. So I turn around and I look at the guy and I just look at him and I go, "You feeling okay?" And he goes, "Hey, man." And he's got a black eye or whatever it is. And like, he got a little bit messed up when he got thrown on the floor. And he goes, "Man, your guy's real tough, man. He did that really good. He's really good." Huh. And I was like, no freaking way. The guy, I mean, obviously you just get a ticket because it was misdemeanor it was petty theft, misdemeanor shoplifting. So it's not like he's going to go to jail or anything, but yeah, it was the guy. Then very next day I'm in line at Cubby's and the guy who just stole from us and got got his head dropped on and got put to sleep, was behind me in line, and then just
Dude,
acted like,
I've never heard that part of the story.
oh, it's hilarious. I told that
Yeah.
to Cam. He couldn't believe it. I'm like, I dead serious. It's the guy. He must work something somewhere. Maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. But it was just the craziest thing. It was the funniest part of that story.
Yeah, that it actually is probably the best part of that story.
Oh, it's the best part of the story. And I said, well, have a good one. And then he called us. I kind of felt bad for him. He called us like 30 days later and wanted us to drop the charges. And we're like, no, we're not going to drop the charges.
Huh. You should have been like, I'll drop the charges if you fill my truck up with gas. That's something I could see you doing. I don't know. That would have been funny.
That is pretty funny.
At the gas station. And you buy me like a whole Casey's pizza. And
I want a 12-pack of Kickstarts, an extra large Amazon pizza, and fill up my car with gas, and then we'll drop the charges.
Yeah, then we're square, dude. We're square.
It wasn't really up to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
You should have just done that anyway, and then to not drop the charges. That'd have been hilarious. Just to screw them over even harder.
Then we would have gotten sued for sure.
I don't know. That's not really. Can't get sued over that.
I don't know. Maybe.
I guess he'd come after Cam. But
yeah.
Whatever.
So yeah. So anyway. So to wrap this one up, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back and tell some shoplifting stories because they do accumulate over the years, but they're very few and far in between. To be honest with you, like there's so many good, honest people that are in our hobby that it's very rare. It honestly is very rare for something like this to happen.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it just made me mad. Like when I saw the guy walking towards the door, I'm like, oh no, not gonna try. I'm not gonna let this happen today.
Not today. Not again.
But I just feel like if you got a shot to knock the product out of their hands, you
gotta take it.
Got to try to do it. If he obviously was brandishing a weapon, that's different. If you're going to be held up at gunpoint or something like that, then take it.
Yeah.
It's not worth anything. But
no, yeah.
And a lot of times when you see these videos of other hobby stores where they're dealing with this sort of thing, a lot of times it is they're just trying to get the product out of the perp's hands more than anything.
Dude, look at how much shock oil's in this.
Is that your shock oil bottle?
Yeah, this is like my second one for the year.
I used to do it in a cup. I used to have this cup,
uh-huh.
this glass cup, and I used to fill it with shock oil, and then it never dissipates.
Can you see on the video how full that is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's up there. I was filling up the Twist On like Coors Light 16-ounce bottles, and I had like 4 or 5 of those at one point. But I've just been seeing how many I can get in a year.
We used to know a dude that would reuse his shock oil doing it that way.
What?
Yeah, he would reuse. He said he would reuse his shock oil. So he kept it in a cup or something like that, and then he said over time that the dirt and stuff would fall to the bottom, and you could reuse the shock oil.
I do not trust that at all.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do it either because you're dumping.
I mean, you can see all the stuff.
Yeah, but you're dumping like 40 weight, 30 weight, 35 weight, 32 weight. You're dumping all these different weights oil into one single cup. Why would you even think about reusing it that way unless you're only using like 30 weight oil?
Well, that or if you're like you have different cups, but like I don't care enough about that.
I mean,
like I'm pretty cheap, but
shock oil has doubled in price since COVID.
How much is shock oil now?
Shock oil used to be like $4.99 a bottle. Now it's $9.99, and I think TLR oil is like $11.99 a bottle or something like that.
What?
It is. Shock oil is expensive now. It's $10 a shot, pretty much.
Maybe I'd just start coffee filtering that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I feel I haven't bought shock oil in probably 15 years, so
Yeah, I always end up running out of something, and then I'm at a race, and then I got to go pay full price for it.
Yeah,
because
I'm stocked up. I got a ton of bottles.
I always borrow shock oil, and then I feel stupid. So sometimes I won't even ask anybody. I'll just be like, I'm just gonna go buy some for full price and get it.
Yeah, I know like I don't know how many times you're like, hey, can I borrow your shock oil? And I'm like, yeah, what do you need? And 32 and a half. I'm like, all right. And I have one that's like almost empty. That's the one I give you.
Yeah.
It's that one every
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Oh, and you're like, oh, you're almost out. I'm like, oh, dude, it's fine. I'll buy more.
Dude,
Order more.
the worst thing for me is when I ask somebody for a shock oil and it's I'm using Associated and they give me TLR. And I'm like, it's not the same thing. I appreciate it, but it's actually different.
Yeah. Does TLR still color their shock oil?
Yes.
Really?
Then you have to explain to them like, no, it's actually different. It's been measured. It legit is different.
Yeah. Lucas Oil makes the Associated shock oil. That's what I trust. At least they used to. Do they still? Yeah, they still do.
I think they still do.
It's got the Lucas Oil sticker on the side of it.
Yeah, the seal on it.
Like full size racing.
What are you racing at Chili Bowl? Since we'll get off the shoplifter knife attack topic.
I'm racing modified sprint car and modified late model.
Late model. Well,
yeah, my late model's insane.
At least you're doing mod.
Oh, all the classes are mod.
Yeah.
But there's 40 plus sprint car or 45 or they call it masters sprint car.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only other sprint car class there is. Everything else is modified except for
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that Scotty made it so that it was just mod motors. It takes tech out of there, doesn't it? Like there's already enough. There's already enough to tech. That's like.
Yeah, there's like one or two classes to get tech.
Right.
I got the body off of my sprint car, but I can't show you pictures of that thing.
Oh, that's fine. No, you're good.
But here's my body.
Oh yeah. Did you see that post that was made today with you in it?
I did.
Saying here's some more racers coming.
Hell yeah. No, that was cool.
Yeah.
I like that they do the RC racer spotlight.
Yeah. That's a cool thing.
But yeah, I don't know, my late model's kind of I mean, it's got flames on it. I got an sticker order coming in.
Yeah, I need to get stickers made too. I'm way behind on that. I've been reusing mine.
Your stickers?
Yeah, like taking them off of bodies. I mean, they still stick, so.
Yeah. I think I've done that once, and it was like new white body the day before a race or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. But my late model is kind of nuts. I got the battery in there sideways, and these are the spec tire for the Chili Bowl for late model.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm just running these because I have to for this race.
Yeah. Yeah. No emails.
Yeah. No emails.
No gotcha emails.
Yeah. No gotcha emails. So I got my battery taped in sideways, and then I cut my chassis on this side to make it the same width as the sprint car, because the late model or this one would like wiggle a little bit on exit, and it took the wiggle out of it and just made it plant harder.
That's good.
So I don't know. I don't run late model very often, but when I do, I really like this car.
Yeah.
The way it is. Like, I just like it. It always works. But I have some tungsten weights that I made for this thing. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I say it's basic, but it's like all over the place. Like, it's pretty not the norm. So.
Well, I got called up to do the Field of Dreams race again. So
nice. We'll have to ride down there again.
Yeah, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that a lot, actually.
Yeah, that'll be a good one to go to.
My our first race coming up is that INS race, and I'm really looking forward to getting away for that one.
Yeah, I can only imagine I'll be in the invite again at Field of Dreams.
Oh, I'm sure you finished second. So.
Yeah, don't remind me. Should have won.
Yeah, it sounds like some different names are coming up for that one too. So.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
What names are you talking about?
I don't know if I should say it or not. I don't think he's announced anything yet, so I don't want to scoop the race promoter.
Oh, all right. Just tell me after.
I'll wait for him to announce if it's confirmed or not. So.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Confirm or deny. I don't know. What else is there? What do you think about?
Um,
I mean, other podcasts cover this enough. I'm honestly, it's not a
oh,
huge.
the
It's
silly season.
yeah, it's not a huge deal to me, but I'm curious to see what we all think about it. Like,
I'm
you
more interested in talking about all the retirements.
sure? Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
Bornhorse is
that's
like Joe Bornhorse. He's got a family. He's got kids. I totally get that one.
hmm yeah. Same with Dustin,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they fill those spots.
Well, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna.
I I do feel like there's just from an age perspective, you can kind of feel a difference out there the last couple of years at some of these races.
Oh, it's a younger crowd.
I mean, especially in the 10 scale side, you don't really see you don't see all the names like you used to. There's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
different names in there now that are you know um, not just A mainers, but also like what am I trying to say? Um, that are kind of like they're supposed to win it. Some of these races, besides Dakota and Spencer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know that it just being a younger group, like I just don't feel like I really fit in a whole lot.
yeah,
Like I go to a race and there's like one or two guys maybe my age, and hopefully we get along and have a good time. You know,
yeah.
but it's not like it used to be. Where you'd show up and there's like a bunch of people my own age, or
I
I was the youngest one,
I
and I was
think
in
it
my mid-20s.
I think it can be. I think that trackside race I went to in November, like
Mm-hmm.
that was more of what I think of what you were looking for a lot. And like at the Plex, it's hard for me to be involved in the pits, in the fun in the
Oh,
pits,
I know
because
that.
I'm always running the races. I always miss out on that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that race I went to at trackside where I got 2 good days of racing in and was able to be in the pits and kind of hang out and put my headphones on when I wanted to and interact with people when I wanted to and work on my car in between qualifiers and sit there and think, okay, how can I make this better and stuff. I think in that way, I think that was more of what I think you are looking
Oh yeah.
for sure.
I yeah. I just like with my work schedule and stuff right now, like it would just be nice if I had a track in my hometown,
Yeah.
like to where I can just like go and run a club race on a weeknight or go practice or um like it's not like I lose like 2 hours, or of my day
Mm-hmm.
just traveling and all the gas money and you know.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's kind of like me and fishing. Like it's really nice having Flanagan Lake literally down the street when before that I gave traveling an hour away a try a couple
Mhm.
times and I got skunked and I'm like, this is stupid. There's literally a lake down the street that I know I can just go and have a full day of fishing and catch stuff
Yeah.
and enjoy myself instead of driving an hour each direction to make it happen,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and like with oval, I feel like it's more about having a good car than spending a ton of time at the track.
Yeah.
So, and I'm good at that. I'm good at having a good car, I feel like,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
that's my cry. That's my sob story about uh off road now.
Isn't it
Because I used to be able to show up and win,
isn't it
or
crazy how big the Schumacher and X-Ray teams are now though?
it is.
Like the pictures I saw at the Clash, I mean, those are a lot. That's a lot of people. And I never would have thought Schumacher would have that much presence, but they really are. They're making a big push in that.
I How long has Schumacher been around? Like the
They
90s?
they've been around as long as Associated.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean that's kind of cool to see those guys have like resurgence or like a following. I remember every once in a while you'd see like one guy out of like 500 that had a Schumacher in the United
Mm.
States, and I mean, and that's probably a safe comparison. I remember a long time ago, they they had like a bunch of Schumacher sponsor drivers. You
Well,
remember that in like
so
the early 2000s?
yes, so I remember I remember Schumacher in the 90s and early 2000s being kind of like the third wheel of the sponsorship stuff. Like you had TLR in
Hmm.
the States, you had, I'm not talking about world, but in the States, you had TLR and you had Losi for sure.
Hmm.
But then there was always Schumacher,
Yeah,
you know?
that was like the third brand for the longest
Yeah.
time.
And it was hard to break the top two, and like you said, occasionally you'd see somebody not in the mod classes really, but at least not in two-wheel drive. In four-wheel drive you would, because
Hmm.
they had a pretty awesome four-wheel drive car. But I think, I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like TLR is going to be that third wheel now. Like you've got Associated X-Ray Schumacher, and
Well,
I think TLR is because of their vision at the moment. It might work out for them. You might get more people running their cars somehow, but like when you go to that website and you look at setup sheets and there's no Dakota, there's no, who else do they have? When they had like Cavallari and Mayfield, like they've had, each one of those guys have had their time at Losi, but like,
so how much value does one of their setup seats even add?
well,
Because
I
like,
don't,
could you or I even drive one of those setups?
well, at times I'll tell you that the one that I remember the most is the TLR 22 2.0
Hmm.
when Mayfield's setup
Right,
got
and
put
Mayfield's cars have been historically easy to drive.
right when that setup got put out there, and you went and got um the Orion battery with the ballast,
Hmm.
the weights, and you
Yeah.
took two of those weights. You bought that battery to get two of those weights and put them
Hmm.
in the car where Mayfield had it. That car was
Yeah.
like magic.
Yeah.
That's value. Like nobody would have ever thought about that until that setup was put online.
Right.
When I'm looking at going to a track I'm not used to going to, I'll go in and I'll look, like with my associated stuff. I'll go in and I'll look and I'll compare, Brent's, Spencer's, um, you know, Aiden's. I'll look at those different setups, see what it maybe might be a common denominator between all three of them,
Yeah.
and then sort of go from there. I'll be like, okay, they all have the same pill setup at this track, and they all have the same piston, but they're running different oils and they're running different springs. So let's try to find the middle of that. But I'll put this on.
Hmm.
You know, I'm just saying, like if you have a TLR, um, right now, an Elite or whatever, whenever this new car, if it comes out, when it comes out, who are you going to go online and look at? Like whose setups are going to be there that you're going to go, oh, that guy's awesome. I'll
Yeah.
look at, it's just, I don't, is there right now? And I'm not saying
I
I it's not that. It's just, that's, for me, that's just an example of like how weird that's going to be. If you're trying to push a new car, trying to get people to buy it, but you don't have a very, I don't know, maybe Frank Root, maybe the engineer, that, the designer, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
You see what
Maybe that's
you just see, see what I'm getting at here. I don't know.
maybe that's like the only way that works for them now is to have somebody on payroll that can drive, that's getting paid to do more than drive. Maybe that's
Right.
the way they look at it from a financial standpoint, because that's kind of the way it used to be in the '90s. You know,
Yeah.
like Kim
But like,
Kinwald like used to work at Associated, and like
true.
Brona worked at Reedy.
Right.
He soldered up batteries.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all I can really say about the silly season. you're always going to find moves because somebody's going to pay somebody a little bit more to come over to their team, or somebody's got to get dropped in order to make money, room to get somebody. I'm sure when it was clear Dakota was going to become available, I'm sure there was some deals going on to try to figure out, okay, how can we make room for this and still be able to afford him?
Yeah.
One of the few people on this
True.
planet that can get paid to do what he does. There's not many.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's definitely different. There's a different feel about this year's silly season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. It just seems like
And
kind of worn out.
Quelo went to Infinity, right?
Yeah. Infinity is a company that they just have a race team. Like, can you even buy an Infinity car?
I don't know. I've never actually looked at it.
Yeah, I think that that's the thing with Infinity. They just have a team that races, and that's the only thing that they want to do. I think it's just some like gazillionaire that likes racing toy cars and paying people to race them.
I'm sure Keenan.
Honestly, that's probably the best.
I'm sure Keenan knows.
Yeah, honestly, that would be the best deal because then you don't have to talk to anybody. Because like you don't need setup help for that car because you can't buy one.
Right.
Like,
man, dude, if I had $1 gazillion, I would be such a prick.
if I had a gazillion dollars,
that would be so bad to people. Like,
if I had a gazillion dollars, I would like build an RC track and like go hang out there. But I'd be racing like sprint car, or I'd be racing micro sprints or midgets. Probably micro sprints. Micro sprints are badass.
I wrote a short story back in college about a kid who inherited some wealth, and he ended up turning most of it into a Pro 4 short course team.
Yeah.
For himself, and he basically just bought his way into being a driver.
Yeah.
And was looked down upon because of it, Yeah. And he had to go out there and prove himself that he was worthy of being able to race against the other drivers in his class.
I would own that. I'd be like, I just bought my team. I just bought my way in. Can you buy your car? No, somebody else owns it. Like 4 other guys own it. I own this one all by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a good thing I'm not. It's a good thing I'm not like what's the word? Wealthy. What's the word for that? Independently wealthy or whatever? Because probably nobody would ever see me again. To be honest with you.
Oh, we'd hang out
unless I'm at an RC track somewhere. But other than that, I'd be out. I'd buy a farm somewhere in the middle of like somewhere warm, like
Florida.
I don't know, not Florida. It's too humid year round. Something like Upper Texas or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know where I'd want to live. Probably nowhere. I'd probably just buy a bunch of houses all over the place.
Dude, Gretchen and I have been talking about, because Emerson's 18. Emerson's talking about moving out, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I'm like, man, now what are we gonna do?
What's he gonna? He's moving out.
He's talking about in the summertime, possibly him and his buddy getting an apartment.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. That's what I did. I moved out at 19. But
yeah.
I had my own apartment. I tried to have a roommate, and then I wasn't informed when I agreed to this that I was going to have another roommate, and we were going to share the same room.
Oh, really?
So I tried that for about 2.5 weeks, and I was like, nope. I'm an introverted private person. I need my space. Like I can't share a room with somebody. This isn't a dorm. So
there's another dude?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, I wasn't. And then a week after I moved out, this sucks. This is going to sound terrible. Somebody broke in because we were we were in the basement apartment. Somebody broke into my bedroom and destroyed everything because I guess this dude owed somebody some money.
Huh.
So if I was still living there, I was working at a video game store. I had like every single video game system up to that point.
Yeah.
I had all of that in there, and they didn't care. They broke this dude's PlayStation and all that. It would have been my PlayStation. It would have been my games. I remember Legacy of Kain. I let him borrow it. They took my Legacy of Game, and they broke it in half.
They just broke the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So funny.
So I got lucky because another week, and it would have been bad.
Ever tell you about the time I broke into this guy's apartment and broke all of his stuff? In Omaha. I drove to Omaha and just found some random basement apartment and broke all their shit and left.
What a weird coincidence. What a strange coincidence.
That's what I call a sticky situation.
You want to get to the comments? Let's get to the comments.
Yeah, we can get to the comments.
Tyler is on here. He says, "Hey Alex, it's Tyler. How have you been, buddy? I've been wonderful.
Tyler.
I love getting stabbed on New Year's Day."
Who's Tyler?
It's
a stabbing on a New Year's Day. I got one.
That's a Miley Cyrus song. I love Miley.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that song. Who's Tyler?
I'm trying to think of his last name, but pretty sure it's Tyler from Kansas City.
Oh.
Nuthouse says, "This is a pleasure." He agreed that it was in fact 300 hours.
Nice.
Cage Mills.
I don't remember what we were even talking about.
We were talking about how many hours is 150 episodes.
Yeah.
So, Cage Mills want to know about track changes for round 3 of the Winter Series. Like I said before, all I'm doing is there's a bunch of pipe and stuff I got to fix this week out there. But I have to get our sound hopefully correct so that we can hear the computer. And then I actually have a new computer that I'm going actually the Plex right after this to see if I can get or I need to get live time updated to it and make sure everything's going to work the way I want it to work. So I have some other stuff, unfortunately, that I got to deal with. So no track changes, just fixing some stuff out there so that it can run smooth. Tyler said he'll be running the Winter Series next winter.
Nice.
Anthony Sandy says that he feels you will. He's currently sick as well.
Nice. What do you have?
There's been stuff going around, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I got something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I got. My wife won't let me go to the doctor. I keep telling her I'm sick. She's like, "No, you're not. You used to have a cough forever." I'm like, I know, but I'm sick. Like I need medicine.
Smoker's cough.
Yeah. Been smoking a pack of Reds my entire life. So, yeah, actually, I don't smoke.
You'd be a lot skinnier if you were doing that, though.
Yeah, thanks. What? Cigarettes make you skinny?
Yeah.
Dude, I should start smoking.
Dude, every friend that I've had that's quit smoking has ballooned up.
Dude, I'd look so cool if I started smoking.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, Erin got a jean jacket.
Oh.
And I keep telling her, everybody's like, "Oh my god, I like your jacket." I'm like, "Dude, she started smoking. She looked cool in that thing."
You gonna get her some rat patches? Like
I don't know.
Iron Maiden.
Good. That'd be sick.
That would be sick.
No, don't smoke. These are all jokes.
Yeah, these are jokes. Do not.
We're joking. We're joking about smoking because of how stupid it is.
Yeah, vape instead.
Yeah, if you really want to look stupid. I just don't get vaping. Like, oh my
god. Oh, speaking of
I get vaping like if you're trying to quit smoking, but to just start vaping, like I just don't get it.
Speaking of denim jackets, Smoking Rats on here, he says late showing up. Sorry, but the 5 Magics by Megadeth takes priority in his life.
5 Magics.
5 Magics by Megadeth.
I've never even seen the first 4.
Schweissberger's on here, says, "What's up, guys? 10-scale cars starting for this summer. Can't wait. Our first round of the summer series should be May 24th or whatever the weekend that is, because the Nationals at Hoosier are the week before when we normally have the first round of the summer series."
Yeah.
But there's a possibility.
Another thing they took from us.
Well, there's a possibility that Emerson and I are going to go. Yeah. So I didn't want to. I don't want to have a situation where I'm going to be gone again, like at the Worlds.
Yeah. Nope, I forgot.
Okay.
Oh, any dirt oval questions?
I'm going down the list. There might be.
Okay.
Tyler says he's thinking about getting the new Losi 8XE RTR e-buggy, putting some scribbles on it for the Plex. What are my thoughts? I actually have driven both the Truggy and the buggy, and I was pleasantly surprised by how good they actually are. So we've sold a ton of them, and every one of them that I've driven, I've been like, wow, this actually works really good. So I think that's a great way to go. If you want to not go crazy money into an e-buggy, the $700 price tag on that is actually you get a lot of value for your money, honestly. And the only thing that sucks on that car are the tires. So put on some good tires and you're pretty much on your way. Peevler's on here, says hi, Will and Alex. Steve RC that said that Spencer talked about the front end on his car in his last update, which I gotta be honest with you, I haven't watched because I haven't had time. Too much crappy stuff going on. Andy Barrett, update on Dalton why four-wheel drive, he's way down there. So he says Dalton missed 2 rounds. First round he broke. I knew about that one after 3 laps. In the second qualifier, he blew up his motor in the pits. So that's why he was way down the list. And
how do you blow up his motor in the pits?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. They were prepping. I mean, they spent a good 2 weeks here during the Christmas break running the new cars. And Andrew and Dalton. And then Sutherland came for a day to run for a while.
Yeah, I showed up that day to get some motor spray.
Yeah, and then Bender, Daniel was building X-Ray, so Daniel went to X-Ray.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's the lone X-Ray ranger after everybody at our place was X-Ray. Now they're Schumacher.
Yeah.
The boys all switched it up, except for Emerson because he wasn't really by anybody. We just, went with the most logical choice, in my opinion. Andy Barrett says that Spencer said on super high grip he uses his KPI one, I believe, and can't achieve that with the new setup. You have to use the old spindles. I'll have to go watch Spencer's thing so I can be up to date on it. We were dealing with a lot of crazy stuff the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This one's weird because I don't remember this at all. Tyler, who ended up stealing 2 RCs from the pits at a winter series a few years ago? So there wasn't any cars that I'm aware of that were stolen from the pits. Some Colorado guys had put their cars in a locked toolbox.
Oh.
And then slept overnight at the Fairfield, and their car got broken in the parking lot, and all their stuff got taken.
Yeah.
It ended up being 5 cars and all their gear. I felt really bad because I was like, man,
Is that Josh Ryan?
Northwest Omaha is a fairly safe area. It's just, you're going to have stuff happen. But somebody knew that there was going to be a lot of gear. And if my advice, never leave anything in your car. I never leave anything in my car, period. I always bring my OGO bag in, my cars, everything.
Yeah, I do too. I've never done that, left stuff out in the truck. I might leave my box of tires or something, but
they actually found one of those cars that got put on Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
Yeah. Yep, I remember that. Just one though. I don't know about the other 4 or if they ever figured that out, but yeah. So again, it wasn't from the pits. I don't remember that at all. I feel like I would have remembered that. Somebody would have.
Yeah.
Somebody would have been very unhappy. Smoking Rat says a sturgeon got filleted. I get it.
Ooh.
No, I totally get it.
Boom.
Yeah. Are we going to do a SCX6 comp? I'm I don't know. Probably not. We do our Tuesday night stuff, and then we're gonna have one Saturday thing with the INS race not being July 4th weekend anymore. The July day comp never really went over that well anyways. I think it was just too hot. So we're probably going to do our comp in October again, but I don't think it'll be an SC6 big ones. It'll just be like class 2 and maybe our ready to run class. I still think that that's the way to go for what I want to do.
We do a Victor Oval race during the summer?
You can talk to Tim about that.
Okay.
I can make a track where the oval is still available if I have to.
Yeah. But would there be like?
I don't want to, but
what? Oh. Like, is there room in the schedule for it?
I mean, we can always try to make room in the schedule for it. If he wants to do it, but it's just one of those things. We need to get the tiller. Like, we need to get a new tiller.
Yeah, we need that tiller, yo. Yeah, that'd be sick. Like, if we had one of the INS.
I am thinking about doing a raffle to raise some money for the track.
What? Oh.
Because, reasons. So.
Right.
Steve RC, will TLR come out with new buggies now that they dropped their pro drivers? I mean, yeah, supposedly there's a new two-wheel drive coming eventually. Did we see the video Bruno Coelho talking about something new? I think he was talking about his Infinity thing. It felt like some sort of teaser trailer. Nuthouse has a good question. Alex, do you see a point coming up that you will build the tracks but have someone else run the races so you can race and be able to interact with racers more? Yeah, I mean, in that instance, it would have to be the right person.
Like me.
They would have to have kind of command of the live time and of all of our stuff that goes on. And honestly, I would rather not build the tracks. I'd rather have it the other way around. Somebody else build the tracks and then I'll just run the race. But this coming up INS race in August, our INS. So this year they're having Elite RC Productions do all the race directing and all the video and stuff.
Nice.
So I will be more involved. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like, I was thinking about, do I become tech guy? I don't really want to be tech guy. Like, I want to just be able to kind of float and race if I'm going to do that. Like, build the track and then just hand off the keys and say, here you go. And then just make sure, that, the internet works and all that stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes you got to do, like build all the awards and do all that stuff. It's going to give me more time to get that done and not be so stressed out. Last year I was very stressed out. That's why when I said I'm kind of glad for 2024 to be gone, it's because not only did I feel like I had a not very good year of RC car racing in general, just like last year I just was so overwhelmed by stuff.
I've had some of the worst luck ever this summer.
Yeah.
For the last year or two.
Well, and then this whole thing happens, and it kind of just added to that. That was technically in 2024, so
I don't know. I think it'll get better though.
No, I have no doubt. It's honestly the whole sound system thing is giving me an opportunity to maybe streamline it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I found 2 chords to nowhere out there last week when I started breaking it down and figuring out, what do we got? I found 2 chords to nowhere. I found a Cat 6 cable to nowhere, and I found an audio cable to nowhere.
Very nice.
So I cleaned that up a little bit, so it's going to help.
Yeah.
Penner's Garage. This is a new somebody I don't recognize. So good evening, guys. Just tune in. This has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but can pick your brains on Mini B slipper clutch upgrades, low C upgrade, MIP stock. Tuning in from Alberta.
Yeah.
All right, Mini B stuff. So my Mini B video has almost 2,000 views now.
Really?
Yeah. So it's one of the better ones. And then, dude, the trackside video that I made, with has almost 2,000 views as well.
That's cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. Slipper clutch upgrade. I would say the MIP one's probably the best one out there. So if you're looking to do the slipper clutch upgrade, I would do that. As I said in my video, I actually don't like the ball diff thing, especially if you're running on carpet. because it just gets roached. And I've read and I've seen people say, "Oh no, you just got to set it right." Whatever. Like, okay, I mean, maybe for them it hit just right, having it set just right. But to me, they're so tiny, and they can get roached so easily that I think you're better off with a gear diff. But the MIP slipper clutch is very good. So if you want to upgrade it, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And then who is that? What company is that? Is it Vision RC? That has little carbon fiber slipper pads. I think
I don't know.
it's the same company that makes the front end mod parts for the Elite. They've got a mini B slipper pad. Emerson put those on, and he said he liked them better. They're more consistent the whole way. So, and they didn't get as hot.
Yeah.
So
I know, like on Oval, I used the fiberglass ones that Associated makes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I like those on a slipper.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I love mini B questions. I need to go take my car to the track and weigh it because there's a comment in the video that I haven't answered yet. Nice. Yeah, he said also today returned the ball diff that he bought. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the ball diff. I like the gear diff. You can just kind of take
in the mini B.
In the mini B, the gear diff's way better in my opinion. Just leaving it alone.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe on dirt it's different, but I think on dirt, so Losi makes these little CVDs. They're TLR tuned like CVDs now, or CVAs or whatever for the Mini.
Wow. I
bought those and I put them on my carpet car, and my Mini pushed like a dump truck because they had so much grip now. Like it generated way more grip than the Universals I was running. The Universals were like just better for carpet. The car could rotate better and everything. So my thought is if we do like a mini melee again at the ProTech race or something, I would put the CVDs on my car for the dirt so that I could generate that grip. But I think on carpet, I don't think you want that. I think it pushes too badly. So
interesting.
Yeah. Going down the list here, we're almost done. Anthony Santi says he tested negative for the flu and the COVID today, so it's just something viral. It's kind of like what I got last year and earlier this year. It wasn't COVID for sure because I took the test. Steve Wall wants to know, is there going to be a dirt off-road enduro this year? I miss doing that. I have been getting asked about it, and I do plan on finding a place to wedge that in. It's going to be a 1,000 lap enduro again. So we're never going to do the 11th hour again. That was way too long. It took way too long. But 1,000 laps ain't that bad. Nuthouse said he was curious. He asked a question because Bad Fast moved to having someone else run races. Well, that's because I think Jake wants to travel more, and I think Kirk wants to go with him, so they have to have somebody to do it. We already talked about that right there. Anthony says he's been messed up for 3 days. Jacob Schweisberger, do people run gear diff on your dirt track or just ball diff? So it's going to be mostly ball diffs. I will say that the Mugen gear diff with the 2 O-rings in there and a full 4 gears actually worked pretty darn good at Hoosier. And I did have it in the car originally because I busted a outdrive somehow, so I had to put the gear diff in, and I ran it at our track, and it was actually okay. I still think the ball diff, when I got it back together and I ran them one right after the other. I still went back to the ball diff though. But at Hoosier, on that glued surface where the grip was, and it was like fresh in the morning and the grip was like crazy, the gear diff was pretty good. It actually felt really good. So I think with those two little O-ring setup things that they have in there, I think it's possible to get a gear diff to work now. So
yeah.
I think that's it. That's all the chats we got. Your nose is like red. Either that or it's your light.
It's probably my nose.
It's red. Look at that.
Huh. Maybe it's a light.
It might be the light.
I think it's that light I got up
Oh,
there.
okay. I was like,
It's
man.
It's a Master Sword Zelda illuminated sign.
Oh, cool.
It's red.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're done here.
Okay.
We got to what I wanted to get to. I wanted to talk about the incident and my
in question.
Yeah. It sucks. I this better leave some sort of scar, so I have some proof. Because when I got impaled by the
tamper?
The tamper, like
Yeah.
you can barely see it now. The scar that I have from that.
Yeah.
Doesn't even look that cool. So. Yeah. Oh well.
No.
Anything you want to get off your chest before we go?
No, not really. Nothing I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you good luck at Chili Bowl. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk to you before then or not. So.
Yeah. No, it'll be all right. I'll call you after we get off the phone.
Yeah, and I'll be watching, of course. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I've been looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
I need some redemption after last year. I felt like I should have done way better.
Right.
But.
Yep. Yeah, don't go wholesaling your car like right before your qualifier.
Yeah, it would have been fine, but my car, like, I forgot a nut.
Yeah.
My car fell apart. It was going really good until my car broke.
Mm-hmm.
My car fell apart.
That's the way it always happens.
Yeah, I didn't tighten a nut on my shock, and it fell off. That pretty much ruined my whole week.
Yep.
I had to climb out of a big hole.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I think we had like 37 people watching. That's the most we've had in a long time. A lot of people wanted to know about my little knifing incident, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're back to business out there. Techno Series this weekend.
Business as usual.
Yep. All right. Well, do the wave. We're out of here. We appreciate you. Thanks for 150 episodes. 151 will come probably after Chili Bowl.
Yeah. You'll have a lot to talk about, I'm sure.
Yep.
Hopefully good stuff to talk about. That'll be nice.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.